Hi everyone, this is ADIL Johan. Very happy to be here for the 7th IAPMS conference, technically held in Malaysia, but now I guess we're doing it virtually and globally, so that's also awesome. This is my presentation, Rocking Onward Singapore, the Ethnopolitics of Singing a National Anthem. Here we go. On the 9th of August 2019, Singaporeans gathered at the Padang to celebrate their 54th National Day. In the sixth act of the show, after a lively hip-hop performance, dazzling pyrotechnic display, laser show, and entrance of a 6-meter-tall metallic lion weighing 1,000 kilograms, the crowd fell silent to sing their national anthem. The singing was led by the veteran rock star Ramli Sarip, fondly known throughout the Nusantara region as Papa Rock. For the first time in their history, Singaporeans witnessed and sang along to a rendition of their anthem at a slower tempo that was infused with the raspy but seasoned Malay rock vocals of Papa Rock, Ramli Sarip. His unique performance of Majulah Singapura, or Onward Singapore, proceeded to become a viral internet hit, but also received mixed responses. Let's have a listen.
Sama-sama menuju bahagia, cita-cita kita yang mulia berjaya Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru, semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu.
Really grand performance, as you can see, but this is probably the first time that Singapore has heard a very rockish rendition of the national anthem, which is what I'm gonna try to unpack for you in this presentation. So this paper that I'm trying to present is actually trying to pay attention to the negative and ambivalent public reactions to Ramli's rendition of that national anthem. And I also look at the ensuing media narratives that unfolded. A lot of my data is actually based on news reports that related or that responded to this performance. But I'm also drawing attention mainly to the ethnicized politics of Singapore that emerged from the subtext of netizen comments and news headlines that were reported upon. These discourses are analyzed in light of the nation-state's geopolitical history as located within a largely Malay-speaking Nusantara region. The paper also considers the significance of Malay popular music in revealing the complex ethnopolitics of the region. In view of Singapore's post-colonial history, the source of much of these ethnic tensions, the year 2019 was particularly important because it marked the island state's bicentennial. That's 200 years since the arrival of Stamford Raffles on its shores, and who later on began to develop the island as a central port for the British Empire in Asia. The island state of Singapore is separated from its neighbor, Malaysia, by a bridge known as the Johor-Singapore Causeway. Across from Singapore's southern and western shores are the islands of Indonesian Sumatra and Borneo, which is divided into the three nation states of Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia. In effect, Singapore, with its majority ethnic Chinese population, who largely form the political and economic elite, is precariously surrounded by a Malay-speaking region. Singapore was also a part of the Federation of Malaysia in 1963. Due to the unwillingness of its state leader Lee Kuan Yew to agree to Malaysian Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman's plan for affirmative action policies, or depending on where you stand, this can be seen as special privilege policies as well. So because of that, Singapore seceded from the Federation in 1965 and became an independent island state. The ripples of this separation and Singapore's geopolitical precarity is evident in the erasure of Singapore's pre-colonial Malay and indigenous past in its national narrative, the Singapore story, as penned by the state's founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew in 2008. However, recent government programs during the bicentennial most recently held have seen conscious efforts to rescript these erasures by allowing for a revision of Singapore's history of establishment. On January 2019, the once solitary statue of Stamford Raffles, erected along the north bank of the Singapore River, is now accompanied or surrounded, depending on your perspective, by 4 historical male figures: Tan Tock Seng, Narayana Pillai, Munshi Abdullah, and Sang Nila Utama. The first 3 were notable individuals who arrived at the island in 1819, the same year as Raffles. But Sang Nila Utama was a Srivijayan prince from Palembang who established the Kingdom of Singapura or Temasek in 1299. While the erection of his statue may be related to an ahistorical or mythical account of the region's past, as recorded in the Malay annals, it nevertheless serves as a concrete reminder of Singapore's pre-colonial past and the claim of origin that people of Malay ancestry may have on Singapore. Along with an appointment of the state's first Malay president in 47 years, and also the first ever female to hold the post in 2017, the visible initiatives that led to and coincided with the bicentennial are seen as a move by the Singaporean state to reconcile its differences with the Malay world and its Malay citizens. Prior to this, in 2012, a series of state-sponsored events in recognition of the national anthem's composer, Zubir Said, marked a shift toward greater visibility of the state's Malay minority population. Elsewhere, I have analyzed ethnographically how such events empower Singapore Malays by recognizing their community's role in nation-making. But such events also brought to the surface the affective tensions that were experienced by Malays as marginalized actors in the state's formation. Importantly, Majulah Singapura as the national anthem of Singapore, barring a constitutional amendment, has and always will be sung in Malay, one of the 4 official national languages of the nation. However, this is complicated by observing that the anthem is not understood by most Singaporeans owing to their lack of familiarity with the national language. All these ethnopolitical currents underscore Ramli Sarip's Malay rock aesthetic in singing Singapore's national anthem, and the political tensions of Chinese-Malay race relations in the region further elucidate some of the negative responses to his rendition. Here's a little background on Ramli Sarip, the Papa Rock of the Nusantara. From the 1970s to the 1990s, rock and heavy metal was huge in Malaysia. Ramli's career as a rock singer, performing in pubs and proceeding to record hit albums for the Nusantara market, is also tied to the history of moral policing of youth subcultures in 1970s Singapore. His social circle of mostly Malay rockers would have been subject to the policing of hippie culture in Singapore during this period. The public state of moral panic viewed with suspicion Malay youths who sported long hair and tight jeans, participated in rock music culture, and thereby associated such youths as having a propensity to consume drugs, which was commonly believed to be related to the hedonism of a rock and roll lifestyle. It is perhaps this historical association of Ramlee's long-haired rock persona that has elicited both excitement and anxiety over his performance of the national anthem. The following pages highlight a chronology of headlines that cover the public reactions to his performance of Majulah Singapura. I also extract some comments and commentary from these news articles for analysis. So here are some reactions to Ramlee's rock rendition. There are about 5 news headlines here that I look into, and of course that I only have enough time for analysis in this presentation. In light of the geopolitical relationship between Singapore and its neighbor across the causeway, it is telling that the first headline in the chronology, with a focus on racist reactions, is sourced in Malaysian press. The second headline from a non-establishment news website is quick to acknowledge, within the same day no less, the Malaysian press coverage, albeit with a more critical spin on the accusations of racism. Both articles, however, cite negative reactions in the online technology forum Hardware Zone, which include comments from users such as Darkside Love, who wrote, "If you are singing it this way, we might as well half-mast the flag," and users that suggested that the singer's funeral-like adaptation could be a violation of the National Anthem Act, and that's a serious accusation. The Malay Mail, however, focused more on the racist remarks in the forum, in particular a comment by user T-Start, who wrote that Ramlee was singing like it's some praying song in the mosque. This particular comment raises some interesting religious, cultural, and musical issues. The reference to a, quote, praying song hints at the Islamic or Middle Eastern aesthetic inferred by Ramlee's singing style, which includes melodic turns and embellishments that use a maqam-like or melodic/harmonic minor-like modality. This vocal approach is characteristic of the Nusantara rock vocal style that employed Malay Asli melodic motifs that draw connections with Quranic recitation styles and Malay Syair performances. However, the xenophobia is evident in the comment's implication that such an aesthetic approach is undesirable for a rendition of the national anthem, a sacred symbol of the state's sovereignty. All the first 4 articles listed in Table 1 were reporting on the National Day Parade rehearsals that occurred days before the official event. Ramlee's rendition was already making waves through a Facebook post from Ng Hen, Singapore's defense minister, who attended a preview performance on 1 August 2019. He posted that the rendition was soul-stirring to hear, even moving some in the audience during the rehearsals to tears. The state-controlled news outlet The Straits Times attempts to provide less sensational coverage of the topic, citing less flippant reactions to the song. The most negative comment cited was from a Facebook user who opined that Ramlee's rendition was suited to a funeral that was sad, depressing, and lonely. Wong's articles, replicated across 2 days with differing headlines, cites comments from 2 13-year-olds who represent an ambivalent view toward the anthem's rendition. Neo Rui Heng said, "I was confused at first as I had not heard the song sung this way before, but it was creative and I liked it," while his classmate Ikwan Fakif opined that he didn't like the part when he sang the words Majulah Singapura, but overall it was very nice and heartwarming to hear him sing. The Straits Times articles therefore frame the issue around musical taste as opposed to racism, eliding the vitriolic and xenophobic viewpoints that could threaten inter-ethnic relations in the country, focusing instead on nuanced comments that are supportive at best and ambivalent at worst of Ramlee's rock rendition of the anthem. The Straits Times coverage of Ramlee effectively worked to subdue the brickbats and sectarian commentators to his funeral-like version of the anthem with a commentary piece by the paper's music correspondent Edino Abdul Hadi. Edino highlighted Ramlee's illustrious musical contributions and acclaim within the region, one of the most accomplished artists of the Merdeka post-war independence generation. Further, his commentary highlighted how Ramlee's approach to the national anthem, accompanied by acoustic guitar and choir, is meditative and solemn, a paean to the country's spirit of progress, to maju, to always move forward toward better days. However, the fact remains that any progressive attempt to reinterpret the fixed symbols of Singapore's nation-state will always face a regressive public discourse of cynicism and anxiety. And such acts of revisioning, if not just updating the national narrative, are further complicated by the ethnicized geopolitics of the nation-state and its popular artists, whose iconicity, like Ramlee Sarip, transcend national borders. Rocking onwards. This paper has presented preliminary research on how examining popular music in media discourses have the potential to unravel the currents of ethnopolitical tension and reconciliation in Singapore and its surrounding Nusantara region. This paper is a preamble to deeper-rooted issues of structural racism in Singapore that have been revealed by mass media events in popular culture. There are two directions in which this study needs to be further developed. The first is to move forward with the issue covered. Ramlee Sarip proceeded to release a music video of his Majulah rendition in December 2019, around the same time that an updated official version of the anthem was released. Unfortunately, this caused some confusion and even anger among citizens who mistook his version to be the new official anthem. The second direction required for the study is to move back to a month before the National Day celebrations. In July 2019, the media broadcaster MediaCorp launched an advertising campaign for an electronic payment application that featured the actor and DJ Dennis Chew. Unfortunately, the campaign displayed images of Chew depicting a range of everyday Singaporeans, which included him cross-dressed as a Malay woman wearing a tudung or headscarf, and representing a supposedly ethnic Indian man in brown face makeup. This brown face controversy prompted comedian and rap artist Preeti Nair to release a rap music video in harsh condemnation of the advertising campaign. The video was a viral hit, but also ironically offended many citizens, thereby prompting the state authorities to ban the circulation of the video. A future study would require a wider reading of racism reportage in the Singaporean media and how popular music expressions provide a means to rock the foundations of the state's latently xenophobic ethnopolitics. Thank you.